Good morning, it's Chris with Willow Ridge Garden Center. It's finally fall. We're thinking about doing our pots over. You're probably pulling out your petunias and sad looking annuals for the year and you're wondering, how can I make my pots look good all year? We've already told you a lot of different cool perennials to put in pots, so I'm not going to do that today. You can check out our videos on YouTube about that. But I want to talk about fall bulbs. I think people think you just put a row of tulips in the ground and they're beautiful, but honestly they're great in pots, and it's a kind of a no-brainer. The cold weather they need, so you take your pots and you have some soil in the bottom, and you're going to take your bigger bulbs and we're going to layer them in. So you may choose some yellow daffodils. They like to be deeper in the ground, so we're putting them down in the pot in the bottom. You don't want to spread them too far apart. For a good look next spring, we want to cram them in. So Dave, can you show how close I'm doing this? Very, very close together, because we want this to come up in the spring and be very floriferous. So I'm putting these in the bottom. This is our biggest, tallest thing that will come up. And then I'm going to add a little fertilizer, and some people use bone meal, but I feel that the squirrels and the animals love the smell of that and they're getting in there and digging. So I like to use triple superphosphate, still a source of phosphorus, but it's synthetic and they don't smell it, they don't dig it up. So we sprinkle that in as we plant. Now we're layering these bulbs, so I've got my yellow daffodils in the bottom. I'm going to put some soil on top of this. They like to be at least 6 or 8 inches deep, so you need to plant them towards the bottom, but yet give some soil for the roots to develop. Now, give me a sec till I fill this up. We're using regular, good quality potting soil that drains well. This is an all-winter pot. It's going to stay outside all winter. The bulbs need the cold period to bloom, so don't take them inside. This is just how we're going to do our pots for the winter. Then the next thing you might do is pick one of the lesser bulbs, and when we say lesser, they're short and cute, and make another layer under our tall daffodils. I've chosen the grape hyacinths. Maybe you think that's too much blue with this, but I love a blue and yellow combo. There also, you could use crocus. Here's a different type of the hyacinth that's pink. So you could choose purple tulips and pink hyacinths if you like that combo. If you like a lot of fragrance, you could choose some of these with a lesser bulb, or just these, and I'll show you how to layer in pansies. But first, I got sidetracked. First, we're going to put our smaller bulbs, and smaller bulbs don't like to be as deep. So generally speaking, you plant a bulb 2 times deeper than it is. So this only needs to be about that deep. So if you'll see, I'm going to settle him down in this soft soil, but he's still only going to be a couple inches deep based on the daffodils that are much deeper below. So we're going to put these all in. And you're going to have a layered effect in the spring. Now, that looks kind of boring, doesn't it, for the winter? I've got a pot of dirt. What good is that, you say? So I will put a little more dirt on top to cover our bulbs and pat it all down. Of course, more fertilizers. The next layer could be pansies, and I've chosen violas because I think they're sweet and they're not great big flowers. They may not compete with our blue and yellow. So then you decide what your color scheme might be. Do you think that that's going to be pretty with that at the base? These have a little blue tone, they have a little yellow. You might do a real classic look, yellow, blue, and white. So what we do is, and you know about pansies, I'm sure, but you don't put 1 or 2. You want it to look full too, so that all winter long you have flowers on top. So we're going to put quite a few in there. This is on top of our 2 layers of bulbs. So we have 3 layers of plants for spring. But during the winter months, we've got the pansies here. So I would put a few more of these if we liked the yellow, blue, and white combo. I don't know if you know about wave pansies, but these are a pansy. See how big it is already? It spreads. So you could put these and you would only need maybe 2 in a pot. These will cover this entire pot. That's not a bad look with our blue and yellow too. But you know how many colors of pansies and bulbs there are. You pick the perfect combination that makes you happy. You will water this in, continue to keep him moist during the winter months, and in the spring you may even forget you put those bulbs in there. It'll be a surprise to you as well as people who visit your gardens. Now, one other thing, say I don't have a pretty pot, or I don't want to put bulbs in my best containers. You could do that in plain old nursery pots. Yeah, not very pretty, but you plant it up the same way. Then you take this pot and you go put it in the garden somewhere and you mulch over it about that much. And you water it in, make sure it's a place that will get rain in the winter. Let it sit. In the spring, when you begin to see a little bit of growth popping up through that mulch, you take these pots out of there. You can sink those down in a pretty pot, put them anywhere you want them, but you'll have the bulbs and they're movable to the spot where you would like them. This is a lot easier than digging all those little holes in the ground. It also keeps some of the rodents away. Sometimes people say that rodents will eat their tulip bulbs. They don't eat daffodils, they're poisonous to them, but this is a good way to protect tulips too if you're a tulip fan. And there are fantastic tulips. I only brought a couple colors out here, but you've got to come and visit because we've got them in all colors, so you can really pop up your spring garden with bulbs. Thanks. Chris with Willow Ridge.